She stole my package. She didn't know it was full of dirty cat litter. The woman pounding on my front door looked like a disco ball that had been dipped in a sewer. She was screaming, actually screaming, that I owed her $5,000 for the damage to her car, while standing there covered in biodegradable glitter and clumps of wet, gray clay. I took a sip of my tea, checked the lock on the deadbolt, and watched her through the reinforced glass. She raised a fist, banging so hard the frame shook, and I saw a flake of used kitty litter fall from her elbow. "Open this door," she shrieked. Her voice was high and jagged, like a circular saw hitting a nail. "You ruined my interior. You crazy witch, you ruined my seats." I didn't open the door. I just smiled, tapped the record button on my phone, and waited for the police to arrive. Because 5 minutes ago, this woman had stolen a package from my porch. She just didn't know that the package wasn't the new iPad she was hoping for. It was a homemade, spring-loaded biological weapon. To understand why I, a 34-year-old graphic designer who usually avoids conflict like the plague, decided to turn my front porch into a war zone, we have to go back 10 days. It started with the sneakers. I'd ordered a pair of limited edition running shoes. I work from home, my desk faces the street, but I happened to be in the bathroom when the delivery truck arrived. By the time I got to the door, maybe 4 minutes later, the spot where the box should have been was empty. I thought maybe the driver forgot. I checked the tracking. Delivered, front porch. 11:42 a.m. I was annoyed, but I let it go. Maybe it was a mistake. 2 days later, it happened again. My medication. Not life-saving stuff, but expensive allergy shots that my insurance barely covers. Stolen. Then, the breaker. My niece's birthday present. A vintage jewelry box I'd won in an eBay auction. Irreplaceable. Gone. I installed the Ring camera that afternoon. And the very next day, I saw her. She wasn't some shadowy figure in a hoodie creeping around at midnight. She was driving a white Mercedes GLS. She was wearing Lululemon leggings and a puffy vest. She looked like she was on her way to a PTA meeting. The video showed her pulling up to the curb, idling for a second to check for witnesses, then jogging up my walkway with the confidence of someone who owned the place. She grabbed a box of printer toner I'd ordered, tucked it under her arm like a football, and jogged back to her $60,000 car. She wasn't stealing because she was hungry. She wasn't stealing to survive. She was stealing for the thrill. For the sport. I felt the heat rising in my neck and my vision went blurry with rage. I called the non-emergency police line. They were polite, but useless. "File a report online," they said. "We'll add it to the database." The database? I snapped at the poor dispatcher. "I have video of her face. I have the make of the car. Without a license plate, ma'am, there's not much we can do. Porch piracy is a low-priority misdemeanor." I hung up. Low priority. My niece's birthday gift was low priority. I sat in my living room, staring at the empty spot on my porch mat. It felt like a violation. Every time a delivery truck rumbled by, my stomach clenched. I couldn't leave my house because I was terrified of missing a drop-off. I was a prisoner in my own home because some suburban kleptomaniac decided my Amazon account was her personal shopping mall. That night, I was scooping the litter box for my cat, Barnaby. Barnaby is a 20-pound Maine Coon with a digestive system that could stir paint. As I held my breath, shoveling the ammonia-soaked clumps into a bag, I looked at the heavy, cardboard Amazon box in the recycling bin. The one the toner had come in. A dark, beautiful idea formed in my brain. It wasn't enough to catch her. The police wouldn't do anything even if I did. I had to punish her. I had to make her regret ever stepping foot on my property. I spent the next morning engineering the device. I took the large box. I taped the bottom shut with layers of duct tape, making it look heavy and valuable. I lined the inside with a plastic trash bag, but I kept it loose. Then came the payload. Layer 1, 5 pounds of used litter. I'd been saving it for 2 days. It was heavy, it was wet, and it smelled like a chemical plant explosion. Layer 2, the propellant. I rigged a simple flap mechanism using the cardboard dividers from a wine shipment. I attached heavy-duty rubber bands to the flaps. The idea was simple: when the top of the box was opened, the tension would release, snapping the flaps upward. Layer 3, the garnish. I had a jar of micro glitter from a craft project I'd abandoned 3 years ago. It was that fine, dust-like glitter that you can never, ever get rid of. It enters your pores. It becomes part of your DNA. I poured the entire jar into the mechanism cups. Layer 4, the kicker. A carton of milk I'd left on the counter for 2 days. It was chunky. It was sour. I poured it over the litter, creating a slurry of absolute filth. I sealed the box carefully. It looked pristine. I printed a fake shipping label with a barcode I found on Google Images. I addressed it to myself, but I put a fragile /electronics sticker on the side just to make it irresistible. I placed the box on the porch at 8 a.m. Then, I sat in my office chair, pulled up the camera feed on my second monitor, and waited. The morning dragged on. A few neighbors walked their dogs. The mailman came and went. He looked at the box, checked his scanner, looked confused, and kept walking, bless him. At 11:15 a.m., a white Mercedes turned the corner. My heart hammered against my ribs. It was her. Same car. Same sense of entitlement. She slowed down. She spotted the box. It was a big box. Promising. She pulled over, parking directly in front of my driveway this time, blocking me in. She didn't even turn the engine off. I watched on the screen as the driver's side door opened. She stepped out. She was wearing oversized sunglasses and a beige tracksuit. She looked around, checking the windows of the other houses. She didn't look at my house. Why would she? She thought I was at work. She jogged up the path. The camera captured her face perfectly. The tight jaw, the greedy smirk. She reached the porch. She bent down and heaved the box up. Oof, she mouthed. It was heavy. Good. Heavy means expensive electronics. Heavy means a KitchenAid mixer or a gaming console. She lugged it back to her car. She opened the rear passenger door, not the trunk. She put it right on the back seat. I held my breath. Was she going to open it now? No. She slammed the door, hopped into the driver's seat, and peeled away. I sat there, frozen. I didn't hear the boom. The trap was mechanical, not explosive. It would only trigger when she cut the tape and opened the flaps. I felt a wave of disappointment. I wanted to see it. I wanted to witness the moment the glitter met the leather. But she was gone. I saved the video clip. I called the non-emergency line again. She just came back, I told the dispatcher. I have video of the theft in progress. And I have her license plate this time. Okay, ma'am, an officer will be in the area eventually, but as I said. Just send someone, I interrupted. Because she's going to be coming back. Why would she come back? The dispatcher asked. Because she's not going to like what's in the box. I hung up. I went to the kitchen and made a sandwich. I was eating it when I heard the screech of tires. It was 11:45 a.m. 30 minutes later. I ran to the window. The white Mercedes was back. It swerved into my driveway, nearly taking out my mailbox. The door flew open. The woman who stepped out was not the cool, collected thief from earlier. She was a disaster. Her beige tracksuit was covered in blue and silver sparkles. There were dark, wet stains on her chest. Her hair, her perfectly blowout-styled blonde hair, was matted with gray clumps. And the smell. Even through the closed window, as she stomped up the path, I could imagine the stench radiating off her. She didn't ring the doorbell. She hammered on the wood with both fists. Open up, she screamed. This is where we started. I walked to the door. I didn't open it. I checked the camera feed on my phone to make sure it was recording audio. Can I help you? I yelled through the heavy oak door. You crazy bitch, she shouted back. You put shit in a box. You put shit in a box. I put litter in a box, I corrected her. Cat litter. It's recyclable. It exploded, she shrieked. I opened it in my car and it went everywhere. It's in the vents. It's in the perforated leather. Do you know how much a detail costs on a GLS? Do you? I couldn't help it. I laughed. It bubbled up from my chest, loud and hysterical. Are you serious right now? You stole a package from my porch, drove away with it, and now you're mad about the contents? It's booby trapping, she yelled. That's illegal. You can't put traps on your property. My husband is a lawyer. We are going to sue you for everything you have. I want your insurance information right now. You want my insurance info? I asked, leaning my forehead against the cool wood of the door. For a car accident? Or for the theft? I didn't steal it, she pivoted, her voice cracking. I thought it was mine. It looked like a box I ordered. I was picking it up by mistake. You ordered a box of used cat litter addressed to my name? I didn't look at the label. I was being helpful. I was going to bring it back once I realized. So why are you screaming about suing me instead of returning it? Because you ruined my car. She kicked the door. A muddy footprint appeared on the white paint. Get off my porch, I said, my voice dropping to a low growl. Or I'm pressing charges for trespassing too. I'm not leaving until you write me a check for $5,000, she screamed. The smell. It smells like ammonia. I can't drive it. Then walk home, I suggested. She let out a primal scream of frustration and grabbed a potted plant from my porch step, a nice ceramic pot with a fern I'd kept alive for 3 years. She raised it over her head, preparing to smash it through my front window. Drop it. The voice came from the street. It was deep, authoritative, and amplified. We both froze. I looked past her shoulder. A police cruiser had pulled up silently behind her Mercedes. 2 officers were standing there, hands on their belts. The thief lowered the plant slowly. She turned around, putting on her best victim face. It was impressive how fast she switched. The tears started instantly. Officer. Thank God, she sobbed, running down the steps, glitter trailing behind her like fairy dust. This woman, this crazy woman, she attacked me. She put a bomb in a box and it went off in my face. The older officer, a guy who looked like he'd seen everything, stepped back as she approached. He wrinkled his nose. The smell had arrived. Ma'am, stay back, he said, waving a hand in front of his face. What is that smell? It's feces, she wailed. She mailed me feces. I opened the front door then. I stepped out, phone in hand. Officer, I have video of her stealing a package from my porch 30 minutes ago. She returned to complain about the contents. The officer looked at me. Then he looked at the glitter-covered woman. Then he looked at the Mercedes. The driver's door was open. I could see the carnage from here. The inside of the luxury SUV looked like a unicorn had exploded in a latrine. Is that your vehicle, ma'am? The officer asked the thief. Yes. And she's going to pay to clean it. Did you take the package from this porch? I took a package, yes, but it was a mistake. And then it exploded. That's assault. That's chemical warfare. The officer walked over to the Mercedes. He peered inside. He wasn't looking at the glitter. He was looking at the back seat. Ma'am, the officer said, turning back to her. Whose packages are those? I craned my neck. Behind the driver's seat, stacked next to the remains of my glitter bomb, were 4 other boxes. Different sizes. Different logos. "Those are mine," she stammered. The officer pulled a pair of blue latex gloves from his belt. He reached in and turned one of the boxes over. "This one is addressed to a Mr. Henderson on Elm Street." "Are you Mr. Henderson?" The thief went pale. The glitter on her face seemed to lose its sparkle. I picked that up for a friend." "And this one?" The officer checked another. "Addressed to occupant at 452 Maple." "I can explain," she whispered. "You can explain at the station," the officer said. He reached for his handcuffs. "Turn around and place your hands behind your back." "You're arresting me?" she shrieked. "But she booby-trapped me." "What about her?" The officer looked at me. He looked at the empty box on the floor of her car, the flaps hanging open, the cat litter strewn across the beige carpet. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Ma'am," he said to her as he clicked the cuffs on. "There is no law against putting trash in a box on your own property. However, there are several laws against theft, possession of stolen property, and trespassing." "My leather seats," she wailed as he guided her toward the cruiser. "They're perforated." "Wait, it gets worse for her," the second officer muttered to me as he walked up to take my statement. "We've had reports of a white SUV hitting porches all week. If those boxes in the back match the reports, she's looking at multiple counts. Plus, since she crossed state lines, we're near the border, it might be federal mail theft." I watched them load her into the back of the cruiser. She was still ranting about the smell. The officer had to roll the windows down before he got in the front. Her Mercedes was towed an hour later. The tow truck driver actually gagged when he opened the door to put it in neutral. He told me he'd probably have to total it out because the combination of milk and cat urine would never come out of the upholstery. I stood on my porch, sweeping up the few stray flakes of glitter she'd left behind. The air smelled fresh again. The video of her screaming, "You put shit in a box," went viral on our neighborhood Facebook group. The comments were a beautiful mixture of shock and applause. Mr. Henderson got his package back, it was a blender, and the police recovered about $2,000 worth of stolen goods from her garage later that day. I never got my vintage jewelry box back, she'd probably sold that one already, but watching her luxury SUV get dragged away while she sat in the back of a squad car covered in filth. That was better than any gift. I still order online. But now, I leave a little sign on my porch. It says, "Smile, you're on camera. And please, handle the packages with care. Some of them are fragile. Some of them are full of shit." She tried to sue me in small claims court a month later. The judge dismissed the case in under 3 minutes. He actually laughed when he saw the photos. "Plaintiff acknowledges stealing the item," he said. "Assumption of risk applies to the contents of stolen property. Case dismissed." So, am I the monster for using biological warfare to protect my deliveries, or did she get exactly what she deserved for treating my porch like her personal shopping bin?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.